Okay, good morning, everybody, and welcome to our final day of our Here For You campaign. It's been a fantastic week, and we're really excited for our last session today as well. As you'll see, we've been joined by numerous members of our staff, our founder trustee, Rowie, and also we've got a very special guest, our first ever patron, Lady Emma. So over the course of the next sort of 10-15 minutes, you will be hearing from everybody. And before we get started, I just wanted to say thank you again to our sponsors for the week, the LRSA and Sergeants Inn. They've been fantastic, and we're really grateful for them for supporting our campaign week. I also want to say thank you to all the external people and organisations that have been involved and helped us sort of deliver the week. So thank you to Her Majesty Senior Coroner for East London, Nadia Passard. She did a really good session at the beginning of the week, as did Sergeants Inn, our sponsors. Again, a really interesting session. I'd like to thank Maya and her team at the Court Network in Australia. We had a really, again, a really exciting session with them yesterday, discussing and sharing our experiences from 2 different parts of the world. I'd also like to say thank you to Lucy, our mental health champion, who spoke on the beginning of National Grief Awareness Week about her experiences of grief and bereavement. And if you haven't watched that session, it is available on YouTube. It was a very moving and emotional session, but again, a really interesting one as well. And I also want to say thank you to Colin Thomas. So the music that you heard at the start of the session there, while the slide was being shown, was created for us by the partner of one of our volunteers. So a big thank you to him for doing that for us. And last but not least, I'd like to say thank you to my colleagues, the people you can see on the screen here, and Mike as well, who have been really good in terms of helping deliver the sessions and make it a really fun and engaging week. And also, of course, our wonderful volunteers. As you know, some of the volunteers have been involved in delivering the sessions. Lots of volunteers have engaged by watching the sessions. And, it goes without saying that the CCSS as an organisation couldn't function without those volunteers. So they're really important to us, and I hope that they've enjoyed the week that we've created. Obviously, it's been because of the pandemic, it's been all a virtual and digital campaign week. And that has brought its challenges. It's the first time we've ever done something like this. We've done sort of activities every day, which has been, like I said, quite challenging, quite difficult online, and watching Zoom sessions can be quite frustrating at times. I understand that. So thank you for your patience with that. And I just thought it'd be nice to share sort of the engagement we've had. So on our YouTube channel this week, we've had over 800 views, which that's up 1,000% from our views originally. Our subscribers have doubled in numbers, and people have watched over 121 hours of our content. So that's just this week alone. So really fantastic engagement. And again, those sessions will be on there forever for people to watch and be involved with. So hopefully that viewership and that engagement will only grow, which in turn will obviously raise awareness and promote our wonderful charity. In terms of the closed sessions, we did have a number of closed sessions on Zoom, and we had over 100 people involved with those as well. So we've had a really good week in terms of engagement. And it's really fantastic to see so many people who have been sort of watching and enjoying our content. In terms of the money raised, Paul's going to talk about that in a little bit. But first, I just thought it'd be nice to speak to the staff you see on our screen here and just ask them what their highlights have been and what they've sort of got out the week. So we'll start with you, Liz.
Okay. Well, I think the week's been really, really good. It's been a good mix of informative sessions and fun activities. So that's been lovely. And seeing Paul's Christmas jumpers and change of outfits has just been great. My personal highlight, I think, this week was the poetry with Jean and the gang. I found the poems really moving and acted as a reminder really of exactly why we're here and how compassionate and caring our volunteers are. So that was my highlight for the week.
Thank you, Liz. And we'll move on to Sam Catt.
Sorry, I lost my mouse there. Thank you, Tom. I've enjoyed every single session, if I'm being perfectly honest. The one that I enjoyed, obviously speaking to the helpline volunteers and informing people of what the helpline do. The team were amazing, as they always are, as are all our volunteers. But the thing that I enjoyed most was your session that you organised in Australia, Tom. Obviously, we weren't in Australia. And I'm so looking forward to Paul fundraising for some flights out to Australia for us all to go as well, to do an exchange. They were just so interested in what we were doing. It was just brilliant. Yeah. And so next year, we need to set you a challenge to get another continent involved, so we can do something similar next year. And how we're going to top this, I really don't know, because we need to start looking now for some really interesting speakers. So thank you. For me, it was Australia. Thanks, Tom.
Thank you, Sam. And Maya, my contact in Australia, has sent me over the YouTube link, so that is on their YouTube channel now. So I'll share that with everybody, so everybody can watch that session from yesterday. So I'll share that with everybody at the end of today. Okay, moving on. Thank you, Sam. Sandra.
Lovely, thank you, Tom. Yeah, I've really enjoyed it. I mean, it's there's so many things, so many highlights, and obviously some of them have already been mentioned. I was actually going to say about the poems as well. I think they really resonated, and there was a lot of effort put into them, which was really great to see. But on the sort of flip side, I think some of the other activities were also very good at this time when, you know, it's dark, it's dull, it's raining. So I think there was a really good mix of sort of informative information and fun things. And I thought you did a really great job with the Christmas quiz. I thought it was very appropriate. I love some of the questions. It really started me sort of thinking about it. And it was fun to do. And it's something that I will do with my family over Christmas. So, you know, I think we need that sort of at the moment anyway. So thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we're reducing in numbers. So yes, before we speak to Beverly, I think obviously this week has very much been about raising awareness and the profile of the charity, but also we had a target of raising some funds as well. So now is the exciting time to hand over to Paul, our fundraising manager, who's going to tell us about how much we've raised this week. Paul?
Well, thank you, Tom. I just want to say to everyone, thank you very much for supporting us throughout the week. It's been incredible, and I've had so much fun, and it's been so enjoyable, and I've learned a lot. And so I appreciated my appreciation to all the volunteers and all the people that have donated. We've raised £2,700 during the course of the campaign for this week, which is incredible. We only set a goal for £500, so that will last us, £500 are the running costs for the helpline each month. So that 2,700 is an incredible amount of money. So we very, very much appreciate your donations and your generosity throughout the week. So thank you.
Thank you, Paul. That's amazing. Really good news to hear about how much we've raised. And Paul will be staying with us for the next session as well when we release the Christmas song. So I just thought, Beverly, after hearing that, as our director, you could maybe talk about what that funding does mean for the charity, particularly, I suppose, in a time where it has been challenging for organisations such as ourselves.
Yes, thank you. And thank you, everybody, for helping us to raise so much money. I mean, that's just such a fantastic amount of money, isn't it? £2,700. When we were thinking, won't it be great if we could get £500? So thank you all very much for that. And it's incredible because it absolutely really will help us to continue to run our services, and certainly will help to contribute towards the helpline for a great many months to come. So that's brilliant. Thank you so much. It's so lovely. I just wanted to formally thank people, and I've made a few notes just so that I don't forget anybody, because I would be mortified if I forgot somebody. So I just wanted to say thank you very much. I thought the week started off with a fantastic session with Sam and the helpline volunteers talking about the work that they did and the service that they deliver, and I thought Sam facilitated that really well, so that was really good. Then we had a very own version of Saturday Kitchen with Mike and Paul, and I could actually almost smell mince pies coming through the screen. It was so well done, and I thought the interaction between the two of you was just lovely. It was really confident and comfortable, and it was just like watching Saturday Kitchen, so thank you for that. And then we had that real treat with the senior coroner for East London, Nadia Prasad, and I thought actually she was very open and transparent with the answering questions that the volunteers had posed. And actually there was some really, really good questions that were put to her, and she answered all of those really well, I thought. So it was a really interesting session as well. And then obviously in honour of Grief Awareness Week, the following morning we had Lucy talking about her own very painful experiences that she had been involved in, and we had some lovely feedback actually from some volunteers, which I forwarded on to Lucy, and she was just very she just said she felt very privileged and honoured that we invited her to talk. So she was really pleased about being able to contribute, and so had said thank you to us, even though really we were thanking her. And then we saw a change of pace with Paul entering our quiz with the knowledge that he had or didn't have. And the only thing I think really that I was really pleased about was that I got more marks than you did, Paul. Not being competitive at all there, but so it was a really good quiz and some really nice questions in there, preparing us all, I think, for Christmas. So that was really good. So thank you for doing that, and thank you both for contributing so well to that. It was a fantastic session. And then Rowie did a great job of drawing the Christmas raffle, where again we raised a huge amount of money, much more than we anticipated, and some of the donations for the prizes were really good, and I'm sure the Christmas cake that you baked, Rowie, will be really, really gratefully received, because I know from our own experience how nice those cakes are. Even though I don't get a look in, that's normally my partner has all of the cake that you normally bake. And then in the afternoon we had a very interesting, open and candid discussion with two of the barristers from Sergeants Inn, our sponsors, and that was really good as well. They came with a preconceived idea about what they were going to cover in their session, but actually we had so many questions from the volunteers, they were just happy to go with the flow and answer the questions that were being put to them. And actually I thought the session went really well. It flowed really nicely, the people were posing, so that was really good as well. And then obviously the session around the Australian counterparts, and I'm obviously imagining that everybody wants to do an exchange trip for research purposes, obviously, next year. And then again, as other staff have said, the beautiful poems and readings that the volunteers gave us, and again they were very moving and so creative. I've no idea how people create such lovely things, and I just can't imagine being able to do that. So it was really good again. So thank you to those. And that was Janet, B, Jenny and Jean. And I know Laura had wanted to do her own reading, but was unable to. So Jean very ably filled in for Laura. And then again, the session on the training, I thought Sandra gave a wonderful insight into our training and how we've been able to adapt our training in these very difficult times with the lockdowns and the various things that have been challenging us this year. So I thought her session was really interesting as well, and again gave a good insight to the training that we deliver. And then it just leaves me really to say thank you to all the staff for your incredible hard work in putting this together, in front of the camera, but also behind the scenes, with Liz in the lead up to the week, had done an incredible amount of work behind the scenes, getting everything ready, getting the programme in a really nice creative way so that it looked interesting and engaging and encouraged people to attend the sessions. Tom, you've just done a fantastic job all week in facilitating each and every session and making sure that we didn't freeze or we didn't run out of the session or anything like that. So thank you for doing that as well. And then obviously all the other staff, Sam, Sandra, Tom, Mike, Paul, and Liz, you've all done incredible amounts of hard work to get this to be such a success. So thank you all for doing that, and for all the volunteers, for those who contributed, but also for those who have listened in and participated by asking questions and contributing to the sessions. So thank you all very much, and I'll hand it to you.
Thank you very much, Beverly. That was great. Just on that session with Mike, I hadn't actually eaten a mince pie until his session on Monday, and now I'm addicted, having at least one a day. So I'm blaming him for that. But I am enjoying them. I know we've got the musicians waiting in the wings, so to speak. We're running a little bit behind, but we will have you on with us in just a few moments. But before we get to the musicians and releasing our Christmas song, I'm now going to hand over to our founder trustee Rowie, who's going to introduce our special guest lady Emma, and then she's going to talk about our very important BBC Radio 4 appeal, which is happening in January. Okay, Rowie?
Yes, absolutely. I have unmuted myself, which is good. Now, I should just say that working with Paul, Tom and Liz over the past few weeks has either put years on me or taken years off, and I'm not quite sure which, but thank you anyway. It's been great fun. And now I'd like to introduce Lady Emma, who has very kindly agreed to be our first patron, and she's helped us so much already. It's just fantastic to have you with us, Emma. Over to you for just a few words.
You're just so sweet, Rowie. I first came across you all when I it was pretty much one of my first visits as High Sheriff of West Sussex in 2017. And I was so struck. I can remember every single detail of my visit to Crawley with lovely Penny Schofield. And it was one of the big things that I really took with me out of that whole year. Because I've always felt so strongly that death is such a taboo subject, and that what you do clearly made an unbelievable difference, not just to the people who you're caring for, the poor people who are going through the inquests, but also the clerks and everyone at the coroner's court. And I think what you do is probably, I just can't tell you how valuable what you do actually is, and it really stuck in my heart. And I think, Rowie, you were wonderful to trek down all the way to Crawley that day on the train, and it was such a privilege. And then we had that jolly lunch in a pub. I'm so honoured to be asked to be your first patron, and I'm incredibly touched, and I can only hope that, you know, I'm looking forward to many years ahead of great things for the Coroner's Court Support Service. I think it's incredibly exciting where you're going, and I'm really proud and honoured to be part of it. Whoopee, well done you all. Happy Christmas, and thank you for asking me, Rowie, and I'm absolutely thrilled. Enough.
Thank you, Emma. Thank you so much. No, we're thrilled to have you. It's great. It really is great. And now the BBC Radio 4 appeal, which I know you're interested in as well, Emma. We have been given a slot on Sunday, the 31st of January, and it airs at 07:54, so it means an early rise for everybody, and then again at 21:25 in the evening, and repeated on Thursday, the 4th of February at 15:27 in the afternoon. And we have as our presenter, it actually makes me quite emotional when I talk about it, a really lovely lady called Karen. And she had her firstborn baby born in February 2017. Very, very sadly, he died 16 days later. And it went to an inquest at the Walthamstow Coroner's Court, but not until June 2018, which is really not unusual to have a large gap like that. And that's where she first met our volunteers there. And she said that she and her family could not have got through it without our volunteers being present. And when it was all over, it was a 3-day inquest, and the verdict was neglect, which must have been incredibly difficult to take. And she and her mother both wrote to us to thank our volunteers for all their help and support. And Karen ended up saying, if there's ever anything I can do for you, just let me know. So when we got the BBC Radio 4 appeal and we needed to find a presenter, I did think of her, and I thought long and hard, and I spoke to the volunteers at Walthamstow about whether they thought it would be appropriate to approach her. And they thought it would, because they said she'd been so strong throughout the inquest. And so I did email her, and she came back to me and said yes. So we have had the script written by a friend who's donated, and we've also had contact with the BBC, which is quite confusing sometimes, but we're getting there with Liz's help. and Paul and Tom. It's quite a thing. It's not just writing a script and speaking it on the day when it's recorded. The whole thing is backup. There's all the money coming in, all the arrangements we have to make for that. So once this week is over, we're going to be going full pelt on telling everybody all about it, making awareness all around, telling everybody we know when it's going to be, to persuade them to listen. And if you look at the list of the amount of money raised, it can be anything between 3,000 and 69,000. And I really do hope that if we can get somewhere in the middle, that would be absolutely brilliant. If we could top the 69, it would be fantastic. What a start to 2021. So I do hope you'll all spread the word as much as you can.
Thank you very much, Rowie, and thank you to Lady Emma, who seems to have just left us there while Rowie was talking. That was obviously, it's really moving just listening to that story. So I think that's going to be a really emotional appeal to listen to. But I think it's going to be really powerful in terms of sharing our story, you know, the fantastic work that the volunteers do and the impact that we have on people who are attending inquests. So really important that we do share the information around that appeal and get as many people listening to it as we can. There'll be more information, as Rowie says, coming out to all the volunteers and staff about that as we move forwards.
Tom, sorry to interrupt you. I just wanted to add in terms of the Radio 4 appeal for next year for the 31st of January, we're currently looking for a match funder. So if there's any corporates out there or any donors that would like to match fund for the appeal, please get in contact with me. Be very happy to speak to you about that.
Okay, thank you, Paul. And so without further ado, I suppose we're going to now bring in some guests to the studio who have been involved with making our Christmas song, which we're going to launch to mark the end of our campaign week. So I'll bring those in now. Okay, here we are. Welcome, everybody. Thank you very much for joining us. It's really good to see you all. And what I thought I'd do is we'll just sort of ask each person how you're involved and how the journey's gone in terms of creating this song. So we'll start with you, Paul, because I think it was your idea to begin with. How did the song come about?
Well, you know, we have these crazy ideas. You know, we're sitting in the summer thinking about the campaign for this week, and we thought there's Grief Awareness Week going on. So around the table between Rowie, Liz, and Beverly, we come up with the idea for Here For You, and we thought we'd go out and reach out to various different people to come up with an idea for a song. So back in the summer, we made contact with one of my friends called Richard Parson, who's lives in a very beautiful country house, and he on his 100-year-old piano with a very fine bottle of claret wine, we had a little go at putting a tune together. Now, I'm not a musical background individual, so he taught me the basics of how to write a song, and I went away, spoke to my friend Tanya, who's also another singer, and jotted something down. And we thought that we'd put something together based on the inspiration that I've received from our volunteers and from their direction in terms of the wording. And I think the wording for me was about for those people that have been in a difficult place, and you know we've all been there at one stage or another in our lives, whether that's relating to death or bereavement, or whether that's a breakup of a relationship. So some of the words sort of come from there, and mainly from the people that I've spoken to. And just finally, a couple of volunteers, you know, both Sandra and Jane from the Maidstone team, they helped me at the time when they reached out to me, and I incorporate some of their words into the song.
That's great. So what is the meaning of the song, Paul?
Well, the song is really just reaching out for people, and it's trying to encapsulate what we do as a charity by being there for people. You know, in dark places, often people just reach out to you, and our wonderful volunteers often do that more often than not.
Good. And we've had a few people join us here, so I'm just interested to know, can you tell us who was involved at which stages?
Well, I'm going to hand over to Chris, because what happened with Linda Russell from our Woking team, she very kindly put a shout out, because my recording, having everyone listen to it on the piano, was not to the standard that was required. Someone said it was like a howling cat, whether you can hear that. But so I reached out via Linda, and I had confidence in it, and very kindly, Chris come back and contacted me. So I'm going to hand over to you, Chris, now, and you can say the next part of the journey for the song.
Well, okay. Yeah, I've got this email come around from Linda, as you mentioned, Paul, and I was 100 people receiving it, but I was only put the hand up and said, yeah, I'll give it a go. We spoke, I think, probably the same day, Paul, and you launched me off onto the task of doing something. So the lyrics, I think, for me, were very meaningful. I didn't know anything about charity before this contact, and the lyrics that you'd written, really, I suppose, started inspiring me into what sort of music I want to put around it. And there was a period about 3 or 4 weeks, which I just kind of, I don't know, would be walking the dog, and I'd sort of have an idea and sing it into my phone, and then carry on walking the dog, and a couple of weeks later another idea, and I'd sing that into my phone and walk the dog some more, and so on, until I got the music come together enough to put together a demo, which I think I sent you about 4 weeks after we first spoke.
And on that note, I mean, Chris, you did most of the work. You've done all the work in terms of the production and rearranging the lyrics so that it kind of made sense. So a big thank you to you. So
no problem. Do you want to carry on, Tom, or is that enough?
Yeah, well, also we've been joined by Lydia. So Lydia, could you explain sort of what your involvement is and how you found the journey?
Yeah, I mean, I got a message from Chris about the song. I sing in Chris's band, so he was, said to me, would you be interested in doing some vocals? And to start with, he said it might be a duet. We weren't sure 100% what was happening with it, and then there was talk of maybe somebody else doing the vocals. So I've got 2-year-old twin toddlers and a newborn baby, so at the time I didn't really give the song much thought. I didn't have much time, and then I got this message from Chris saying, we're going ahead with the song, will you come over and record it? So I thought, okay, I need to actually learn it then. So it was in that day I put the song on and I was listening to it a lot, and actually driving over to Chris's house to record the song, I put the Bluetooth on in my car and was listening to it over and over and over again. And then, yeah, so, I mean, the first time I listened to the song, the lyrics were just, they really hit home with me. I mean, I lost my dad 3 years ago, and I think anybody who's been through anything like that, the lyrics were just so poignant, and it's really quite an emotional song, and it's beautifully written, I think. So, and yeah, it was just a really nice experience to record it. I mean, I'm not a professional singer, so I've not done much recording before, so it was just nice to get back in and do a bit of singing and get back in with Chris and do what we love doing. So yeah.
Can I just add that, Tom, that I look back on my phone records, and it was 7:42 a.m. on the day that Lydia's talking about, that I sent her a message saying we're going ahead, and at 7:42 a.m. with no time elapsed, she said, blimey, okay, to learn the song. But she doesn't quite, but at the time she was 38 weeks pregnant that we recorded the song, and a week later she was going to be induced. So we just had 7 days to get the song out. But when you listen to the song, you've actually done an absolutely beautiful rendition of it.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you both so much. We're so grateful for that. You decided to do it for us, and I know I can. The excitement's building. I'm already desperate to hear it, but we've got a couple more guests just to speak to. So we've got Diane and Helen. Diane, would you like to explain sort of your involvement and how you found it?
Yeah, I'm a volunteer at Suffolk Coroner's Court, so I answered the kind of email asking for volunteers to contribute to the song. I'm by no means, I'm just an enthusiast as a singer, so for me it was just a bit of a step into the dark, but Chris was so supportive, and it was one of the highlights of my 2020, the day that we went to sing and act or whatever, but it was so good to be part of it. Yeah, the song was amazing. We were singing it for days, if not weeks afterwards, in our heads, and it's just so nice, because it's such a nice team of coordinators, of volunteers, that we often come together for things, and we're all like-minded. It's lovely to share these things. So, what an experience!
Thank you so much. It's so lovely to hear, how enjoyable people have found it, and what a positive impact it's had as well on the people who have been involved. So we'll finish with you, Helen, if you could again, the same way, just explain your involvement and how you found it.
Yeah, I responded to the same email from Paul. Would we be a backing group? And in fact, Diane and Maris and I had never met before, because we're all at different courts. So we met at Chris's house, and we sang the chorus. We're only in a little bit of it, but we're the backing group, and we did decide we ought to be called the the 3 degrees by another name, the 3 Scotches, perhaps. But it was so lovely to be able to sing with people, because I'm in 2 choirs, one of which hasn't met since March, and the other of which rehearses by Zoom, where we sing alone at home to a backing track, and it's just not the same. So we had a wonderful day. It's a beautiful song, very moving, and I'm proud to be part of it.
Thank you so much. Like I said, it's absolutely lovely to hear how many people have been involved, and like I said, the impact it's had on people who are involved. Paul, would you like to add anything before we actually get going and play the song?
Well, I do. I just wanted to say that the inspiration I was given a direction should sound a little bit like Dolly Parton, a bit like Adele, a bit like ABBA. And I was thinking, how do we do this? And I'm saying to Chris, please help me. It needs to sound fun and jolly, but equally it needs to convey a message. So Chris has done a fantastic job in terms of the production and the rewriting of the lyrics and putting them together. I just want to say thank you to all our backing singers, to Diane, Helen, and Maris, who couldn't be here today. Equally to Lydia for singing that. And I know that Chris has had some support from some other people, so I just wanted to mention them. I think it was Katie Edwards, Dangel, Louise, was that right? I mean, Chris will add some more to that. So big thank you to the whole team that put the music together. On a final note, it is available on Spotify. It will be on YouTube. You can download it from iTunes. It's called CCS. And Lydia, hopefully I'll get your surname right. Kimarsh. Keemish. So Lydia Keemish. Sorry, I'll say that again. So you can download CCS and Lydia Keemish from iTunes and all the major streaming sites. So thank you very much, everyone. Over to you, Chris.
What am I doing now? Sorry.
just in case you wanted to thank anybody else.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Thanks, Paul. Yeah. Well, Well, Lydia did a fantastic job. But I just want to talk about the volunteers coming around. We really did have a great day, and they're such fun people. And to spend the time working with them, we recorded each of them individually. But then when you listen back to it, it sounds absolutely fantastic. And whatever Helen says about it being a small thing, when you listen to the song in a minute, you'll see that the backing vocals are absolutely crucial, and they make my heart lift. I know my work, and when I hear these vocals come through, that my heart soars with joy at what it sounds like. So I'm very grateful to all the vocalists and Lydia, who did a fantastic job.
Okay, thank you so much. Well, I think now is the time to let everybody else hear what you've produced. I'm going to remove everybody from the screen just so we can try and save some bandwidth, because I want it to play, at the highest possible quality. So I'll just take you off the screen. I'm going to share my screen. This will mark the end of the campaign week. So big thanks again to everyone involved. At the end of the song, the broadcast will be finished. So we'll see you all soon. But I think I know what I've done. So without further ado, here is our Christmas song.
In the darkness, I am hurt, I'm in despair. The road ahead, it's so unknown, and the fog is everywhere. Can you take me by the hand? Can you show me where to go? Can you lead me on my way? Can you help my spirit grow? Can you lift me up? Be my light. Are you there for me? Here we are. Here we are. Here we are. We're here for you. This can't be happening. It can't be real. I feel so low. I just can't face this anymore. But I can't let it show. Can you help me to move on, to handle all this strife? Can you take away my pain? Can you help me face my life? Can you lift me up? Can you shine your light? Are you there for me? Here we are. Here we are. Here we are. We're here for you. We're here for you. We are here to listen to what you have to say, helping you to stand up to make a smoother day. We are here to help you get where you need to be. You can always call us to help you to be free. To be free. I have listened very hard to all the facts. I've learned what's true. The clouds, they have parted. The sun is shining bright. The world seems new. The path ahead is rocky. The steps will be unsure. But you are here to guide me, to help me feel secure. You lift me up. You turn my darkness into light. You're there for me. Here we are. Here we are. Here we are. We're here for you. Here we are. 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 We're here for you. Here we are. 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 We're here for you.